Artu, come back at once. You haven't finished with me yet. You don't know how to fix the hyperdrive. Chewbacca can do it. I'm standing here in pieces, and you're having delusions of grandeur. You did it!
I'm Jonesy79, aka Chris, joined by my friend Darkneon.
Hello.
And by jbgundamwing down here.
Hey, what's up, guys?
Yeah, he's joining us by the wonders of the speakerphone due to the fact that he couldn't come over because life happened, right?
Yeah.
But it's not bad. At least he can join us in some form or another. All right, so last week was a pretty rousing success, despite us spending 2.5 hours trying to figure out how to do this. And once again, my sister, Absol Hunter, came to the rescue and figured things out. So
exactly.
All right.
Questions weren't off-putting. We're still getting used to doing all these podcast type things, and I've had to learn how to slow down my voice so I don't sound, hyper. And I'm sure the same goes for the rest of you guys, right?
Yeah, when we get excited, we tend to run more faster than our mouse can catch up. We start sounding like Blur from Transformers.
Me, I gotta learn how to not talk over people. I have that problem.
Yeah, and then another thing too, though, is that thanks for Derek for pointing it out. I was so having problems trying to get that first episode exported that I didn't properly vet all the audio. So one porg went unporged, and an F-bomb got through. So very sorry about that. I'll keep in mind to listen for more of those. But it was because I was in so much problems, and I was on the third attempt at exporting. I thought, I think it should be good. I sent it out there, and that one let fly. But hey, these things are bound to happen with first-timers, eh?
By the way, that was my bad to let that one slide, I guess.
No, it's fine. It's fine. Obviously, we're not trying to self-censor or whatever because, face it, in human nature, we talk the way we talk around our friends. And sometimes some of us let the words fly a little looser than others. So, no problem there. It's only natural.
It's the first time again, like I said.
Yeah.
So
it is only natural. You're with your friends. You let off a swear. It's not the first time.
So I guess the thing to talk about is our thoughts on the Mandalorian so far.
Yeah. By the way, I know we haven't gotten to it yet, but off the top news, Jay says, according to things he's been reading, Jon Favreau really is considering making a decent holiday special. Go on, Jay, elaborate.
Yeah, I was actually going to bring that up. He's not joking about that. He really wants to make a holiday special, and instead of being mad or anything, I'm just curious. I want to see what his mind can come up with.
Well, probably it'll be more well thought out than whatever happened.
Like at work during break, I actually read up on that. I went, that's very bold.
Yeah, but yeah. Speaking of which, this fool right here says he found a copy online. He wants to take a look at it. I tell him, dude. But, that gives me an idea that I know you might not like it and everything like that, but we probably have a small little discussion on it around the holiday season. So if we do one of these around Christmas, maybe we have to bring up that inevitably.
Well, to be fair, technically it's a Thanksgiving special, honestly, because it ends as a dinner. They only just call it a holiday special because they wanted it to be one and done.
Yeah.
And obviously they thought, maybe it might end up being replayed over Christmas time.
Okay, so since you said it was Thanksgiving and that's coming up, and we do a high ground on that, we could probably do something called the Revenge of the Holiday Special or whatever. It is episode 3 the next time we do one of these.
Well, if you must.
Hey, it's going to come up in one of these eventually, and don't worry, we won't spend too much of it. Trust me, I even just as a joke did some quotes from the holiday special to him, and he had instant PTSD.
I mean, I do actually have a copy of it, just for whatever. curiosity, just to look at it and just wonder why constantly. But
No,
I
not
have
all
it
of it's bad, you know.
tagged too. So
Yeah, it's like some of the Han and Chewie stuff is pretty entertaining, and yeah, the animated special, despite the weird faces, it did give us Boba Fett riding on the back of a great Methlosar. Okay. Anyway, so on that note, let's go ahead and talk about the Mandalorian. Probably the sole reason people are getting Disney Plus. I mean, never mind the fact that it has a buttload of content from like the '90s and all of Disney's sorted history, most of everything, and it's like, wow, they have that. Oh, they have that. Like, and it allows me to see stuff I heard about but hadn't seen. Like, I saw some of the direct-to-DVD sequels that were actually pretty decent. Like, we saw Little Mermaid 3, which is technically Little Mermaid at the beginning, but that was entertaining.
I really don't care for it.
Yeah, I do like, my favorite Disney sequel is probably Simba's Pride, just because I like Kiara. Nev Campbell.
You did name one of your cats after her, I believe.
We have Nala, and if Nala had a... Sorry.
No, I'm pretty sure one of them got away or someone that was named Kiara, but... Like,
No, Yuki was the name of the mother, so yeah. But yeah, anyway, so Disney Plus comes with a load of stuff. And of course Mandalorian and most of the Star Wars stuff, including Clone Wars, Rebels, and Resistance. That's, again, like Derek told me, he feels that if he were to invest in a year-long subscription, he gets more than his money's worth with just the sheer amount of content.
I mean, it's honestly true. But aside from the Star Wars thing, I've been binging like one of my 90s guilty pleasures, the Mighty Ducks cartoon. Like,
I remember that.
But yeah, it just brings a smile on my face to see that stuff. And there's also Kim Possible and like you said, the Clone Wars and Rebels and Resistance, which I'm sorry to say that I still haven't seen. I just lost track of time, guys. I just don't have the time to get into these, but I'm looking to get into that for the coming of Rise of Skywalker.
Yeah. Oh, and also, and this is just phase 1. They're going to be adding more content as the years go on. So I'm looking forward to them eventually putting Buzz Lightyear Star Command on there in its entirety. I mean, yeah, it's all on YouTube now, but I mean, come on, getting it from the source, that'll be another thing entirely, eh?
Right. Excuse me.
But yeah. So the Mandalorian, that debuted on Tuesday, and I had to catch it after work to go ahead and see episode 1.
I got it at work.
Yeah.
Right.
Sorry, but yeah. So yeah, you caught it at work, buddy, because like you said, things were so slow. You were able to actually pull up your app and actually watch it on your phone. So.
Have like one interruption the entire time.
Wow, that's not bad given the track record. I mean, that was on day 1. I mean, day 1, I did have that.
No, bro. I mean, by one interruption, I mean one customer came in.
Oh yeah, that was that slow. Yeah, but also technical wise, like I've only run into a few problems, but they are getting ironed out. I'm pretty sure the longer this stays on, the more better the efficiency will be. Like every now and then I would get that weird thing where it'll be stuck on the frame and the audio is still going, and then later it speeds up to catch up with the audio, and that happens every now and then. But not too often.
Sometimes I also get this moment where the audio is going and the video is going too, but the video is like getting choppy and it's trying to catch up to the audio, and then eventually everything stabilizes. But it's just weird to see that. But
yeah,
honestly, watching The Mandalorian, you only get like the stuck images and just repeat only once. So at the very least, like it doesn't affect like the original stuff from what I see.
Yeah, so the longer it goes on, the more they'll be able to patch and bug this thing, and it'll be able to be corrected. So, like we're on the first steps. These are our first steps with this thing, and I say their launch is pretty good. I know there's some people who are still holding out, and I don't fault them. And I know that streaming services are piling by the mountain full. We're getting HBO Max, Apple TV. It's just like like we said with Yoda, only begun the stream wars have.
I think you paraphrased, but we'll go with that. Anyways, I can honestly say wholeheartedly that they've got the setting of the mood exactly where they need it to be for following a bounty hunter like the Mandalorian.
Yeah, the first episode.
Yeah, that's obviously because of the brainchild between Dave Filoni and Jon Favreau working together and just knowing exactly what they need to get done. And
you know
guys,
who else?
Yeah,
keep going. Yeah, keep going.
Well, anyways, these guys are definitely like trusted aficionados of Star Wars now. I can honestly say. And you were gonna say?
Yeah, not only is this a win for Favreau and Filoni so far, it's also a win for Kathleen Kennedy, who got this whole thing together. Her name is front and center among like the producers and all that stuff. I mean, I know that in certain parts of the internet and some people's opinions is they too high of her recent performance, but when she puts the right talent together, things really work out. So this would have to be a win for her. Now, I know there's some people who are like a little surprised by the length because in this day of streaming shows, we are used to like 40 to an hour minutes of content. Like Game of Thrones is pretty long. Some of the DC streaming shows are kind of in that range.
Stranger Things are like an hour or an hour and a half sometimes, but
yeah. So getting an on
the time is actually well spent with these things. These first two episodes, you can feel like you're not wasting any time. Like the pacing is spent really well, and there's enough action, humor, and drama and heart all wrapped up in like such a short amount of time. Like amazing that they are able to manage to pull that off the same way that Clone Wars and Rebels have did it. But then again, as I said, this is Dave Filoni at work, and he knows what the hell he's doing here.
Yeah. And yeah, some people say that they were surprised by the length and saying, we're paying premium dollar for this, but like like it says, the production is in the way it's shot and the way it looks, the effects. One or two are kind of dodgy, but not as much. It kind of goes with the territory. Like even for as mind blowing as George's effects were back then, there are one or two where you go, yeah, that one kind of could have been tweaked a little. So when they have a few of those in The Mandalorian, I don't mind that. But for the most part, it's pretty solid.
I mean, that should be part of the charm. Like when you get down to it, like those one or two hiccups, it's all the way dated back to 1977, and like all the fans have like cherished those mistakes as much as we have. So, not everything should be perfect aficionados like Citizen Kane or the like. Sometimes you have one or two goofs that you can accept with the. What's that word? I always keep forgetting words sometimes. It's slipping my tongue. No, I don't.
The word what?
Accepting like what's there.
Yeah. Oh god, that word's eluding me too. That'll come back to us anyway. So, yeah. So, episode 1, like I said, it already opened up pretty good with that cantina, that watering hole in some backwater planet where these guys are really roughhousing it. It's a tough place, and just like in the Western, when in a saloon, in comes in that man with no name, and the tension gets up. Yeah, that's totally an homage to the Western. Like,
yeah, I was gonna say the minute he walks in, everybody turns. New gay.
Yeah, it's like all those saloons and westerns, and yeah, like I said, if Star Wars was inspired by the Flash Gordons and serials, then Mandalorian is definitely a western for sure.
Feels like a Clint Eastwood movie in space.
One of the dollar series, Fistful of Dollars, or Good, the Bad, and the Ugly.
Yeah, even that weird little exotic flute of the soundtrack is supposed to be like that, like like that. Anytime it walks in, and hell, you're already in Star Wars because they got the alien language, they got the subtitles, and that suit is just immaculate. I mean, it's grungy and it's used, but it's also shiny. It's just like that's gonna be fun for cosplayers to put together.
It's also shiny, and you can tell it has a history.
Mm-hmm. And yeah, And I like how we were a little concerned with the violence. I mean, not like in a worried way, but like how are they going to do it? Because in the trailers they show stuff like a guy getting skewered by a door, and they still do it in a way where you go, "Ouch, that was a fatality," but at the same time, not enough to like up the rating a lot. But
They cut
They
the
don't
camera
show
the minute
or
it met his waist.
yeah, you were saying, Derek?
Right.
no, I was just saying they don't show you blood or gore or anything. They show you the implications, and
But
by
that's
far the
what
implications are a lot more heavier than what you actually see on screen.
hell, that's what made
sure.
the old Star Wars movies a little like one of the probably the most violent things that happened in the original trilogy is the burning of the homestead, and you just see what's the effect. You don't know how it happened or why, but whatever you came up with, you're going like, "Jeez, I mean, hell, don't forget the first movie opened up with an entire planet being obliterated." So yeah, I mean, yeah, we didn't see the violent destruction of it, but just the fact that the voice is crying out in terror, that implication is like, wow. So the Mandalorian just showing like the rough effects like that's in line with the series. And of course, I love how his first bounty, he was played by Horatio Sands, I believe. He was a SNL comedian. He was kind of amusing with his trying to weasel his way out of this bounty. And I love that bit with the ice. That was another like a cameo. I can't recall the name of the cameo of the driver of the speeder.
He's from Adult Swim mostly.
Ah,
I forget which show. I think it's the Eric Andre show or something. He's that ginger dude with the glasses or something. I don't know.
but yeah, he's the one that said stay off the ice, and we find out why when we see those I'm going to call them croco walruses because that's what they remind me of.
Can I just say one thing about those?
Huh?
Derek, you've
Yep.
seen Avatar: The Last Airbender, yeah?
Many times, yes.
Okay. Tell me that croco walrus thingy, does it not look like something that would come from the world of Avatar?
Well, I mean, Filoni worked on last Avatar, so it's like
Wait, no.
probably
Wait.
like a little
You
bit
didn't
of a
know
wink
that?
kind of thing.
Oh,
Yeah,
wait, bro. There's your first pork sound.
Oh yeah, thank you. I also know that. Well, you didn't know that, but yeah,
No, I didn't know that, actually.
I thought. Yeah, I know Derek knew that. I didn't know you didn't know that, but yeah,
Yeah, I didn't know that.
But yeah, and also the ship itself is beautiful. I don't think the ship's been given a proper name yet, so we're just going to be calling it the Mandalorian ship.
Actually, it has a name.
Oh, what is it?
It's called the Razor Crest.
Ooh, I like it.
Oh yeah,
And the name came from promotional.
He
Really.
said it was the Razor Crest in that too.
Say it again?
No, I've looked up the material. It's just called the Razor Crest.
They're good. So, but yeah, and and another thing that was made a big deal about this whole thing was the fact that after 40 years of wondering where do they go, they show us what a toilet in Star Wars looks like.
And it looks like a urinal.
Mm-hmm.
It's
But-
like a urinal that's kind of diagonal almost.
Yeah, at least there ain't no 3 seashells.
Oh, God.
I mean, maybe one does. You know what? Why are you discussing this? This is not way out of our
Derek?
like here.
Do you guys want to know how the seashells work? I know it's a bit off
No.
topic, but...
No.
No. I'm sure that the audience does not want to know that. If they want to know that, they can go find some other YouTube video.
Who wants for scooping?
But yeah, anyway, yeah, so, yeah, we also get some shots from the trailer, like, right away, like that one of Horatio's character trying to find a way out.
Oh, Jonesy, your voice is... Hello? Jonesy,
Oh, can you hear me?
your voice kind of cut out.
Oh, now?
Nope, still a little bit more.
Hello?
There we go.
Okay, sorry about that. Yeah, so, yeah, we find a carbon chamber inside his ship, which is pretty cool. And I love that bit when he says, I wanted to get home in time for Life Day, and I guess that's not going to happen now, isn't it?
Probably not.
And then boom, he just ices him there. And like everyone said, maybe that was a regular thing of bounty hunters to do, maybe not. But like, I'm pretty sure word got out of Boba's capture of the famous Han Solo. That probably stories are told about that.
just the thing. Every hunter holds their cargo differently. If you look at the size of the Mandalorian ship, carbon freezing would be the only viable way to hold a prisoner. Just saying.
Yeah.
I mean, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Like, and then, like Derek said, Vader did mention how the carbon thing in Bespin was makeshift because they usually use that carbon freezing to freeze gases and stuff. So using a living thing like that in an improvised way was probably dangerous.
Very dangerous.
But just enough to risk a no-name smuggler.
Yeah. So we have him talking with Dylan, that SOB, aka Grief Karga, right? That's his name, Grief Karga.
There you go, bro.
Grief Karga, yeah. And we find out about the Bounty Hunters Guild and how things are a little hectic ever since the fall of the Empire. Like he was trying to pay him in Imperial credits, and he goes, they still spend.
I don't know if you heard, but the Empire isn't exactly strong these days.
Yeah. But yeah, so I love when he talks about all the offers, all the pucks. I love the bounty pucks, by the way, but I love how he like there's like the people that are evading stuff, the wanted smuggler, all that kind of stuff.
Oh, wait. I'll quote him right now.
Okay.
I have a bail jumper, another bail jumper, a wanted smuggler,
Take them all.
and what was the last one? Well, that's them for the most part.
What was the last one?
I'm trying to remember.
Well, that was supposed to be a wanted smuggler.
Yeah, and then
the wanted smuggler. Oh, spy stealer.
yeah,
I think that was the third one.
and then he goes, I'll take them all, and he goes, he has other members in the guild, and he says, they're not busy enough, like things slow. No, things are actually quite busy, but no one can afford to pay the Mandalorian, which shows you that he's really good, but also really expensive. Even his highest bounty only costs 5,000, which doesn't cover fuels these days. Probably coaxium.
Plus, you saw how many bounties that dude takes on. He travels a lot, so.
Oh yeah, and so that's when Grief Karga gives him a direction towards a face-to-face client. I just love the way he says, "Give me the puck, then no puck." Face-to-face commission. And again, once the Mandalorian walks through the city, that's when it really feels like, Mos Espa and all those other places. It's like you got your vendors, you got like people of different outfits and religions walking around, and even the door has the friggin' doorkeeper from Return of the Jedi pop out.
By the way, does anyone else want to try roasted Joaquin Monkey Lizard after that sequence?
That actually comes after the next scene, but yeah.
Oh yeah, my bad.
But yeah, when they did the trailer for Mandalorian at D23 like a couple way back, they actually showed that whole sequence, and they actually put the Kowakian monkey scene before he walks into the chamber with the surprise of it being with the surprise of it being a bunch of stormtroopers.
So I know we're going to recount this, but obviously we don't want to spoil it for you guys. And hopefully the uploader of this video is going to make sure to warn everyone about the spoilers involved in this.
Oh yeah, we got a spoiler warning.
Yeah, okay, you're right. I will put a spoiler warning for when it gets really spoiler heavy, but right now, like, we'll probably keep it off that way. And once we get to a certain point, we'll tell you when you can come back after you've seen everything, so you can pause this or not. But chances are, if you're into Star Wars like we are, you probably already saw this already, but he's right. Yeah. But Derek's right. We probably shouldn't be willy-nilly about spoilers.
But that's how we are.
To be fair, in comparison to most spoilers, we're kind of being light on you. This is kind of the typical stuff you're expected to see when you bought Disney Plus to watch this show. So,
right.
From what you're hearing, you're definitely getting sold on this show right away. And we're saving the best stuff for much later.
Yeah, Werner Herzog as the client. I just love it. I was telling Jay how much I couldn't stop gushing over the way he says certain things. Like, you're the best man in the posse. Like, stuff like that. Like, damn, just anything he says, I'm like, ooh, tell me more.
My favorite thing for him to say was, Grief Karga said you were coming. It's like, he also said you were very expensive. Or, better yet, You'll have to forgive my colleague, Dr. Cushing.
His enthusiasm
outweighs his lack of decorum.
No, please excuse my doctor's lack of decorum. He is his eccentric, doesn't outweighs his discretion. That's what he said. But yeah, his lack of decorum. But yeah, okay, we both butchered the line. But the point is, I loved whenever he says anything. Hell, I loved him from the trailer saying bounty hunting is a complicated profession. So I love the actual quote because he edits it differently in the trailer, but in the actual thing, other he says when they're talking about this asset, there's no puck, it's only a tracking fob, and this specimen is probably wanted alive, but like he says, he understands that bounty hunting is a complicated profession, so should things get messy, that proof of termination is also acceptable, which the doctor is not all the more enthusiastic about, but I love the bit when the doctor walks in. He raises both his pistol and his rifle, and the stormtroopers that way him, and others is like, lower your weapons. You tell them to lower theirs. We got you outnumbered. Was it 4-1? I think, yeah.
I like that.
I go I squee every time. Even when I saw the illegal preview that was on YouTube for a while. When I saw that bit, I go, oh, I love this guy already. When I heard him say I like those, I was like, dang,
Oh yeah, I remember that leak.
Yeah.
I love the crowd's reaction even more.
Yeah, anyways, I'm sure you all seen that clip before because it's shared on the Star Wars channel. So yeah, it became illegal once, and then it became official just on the day that unleashed the Disney Plus on you.
Yeah.
Can we even call that a leak though? If it came out on the official Star Wars channel?
No, we're talking about the one that was camera recorded. That was a leak, but the one they actually have a high def version on the Star Wars channel now.
Oh. Okay.
But yeah, so once he gets off to the races, it's really you get really into it, and we'll talk about this more in the spoilers. But after his meeting with the Imperials, he goes to another interesting place that again sheds a little more light on what kind of guy he is, and just who he's doing this for and everything. And then when he goes off on an adventure, I like how unlike the way Legends would prop up certain hunters and all that kind of stuff, when he gets down to this unknown planet, just expecting the tracking fob, he ends up getting humbled by the local wildlife, that's always been a theme in Star Wars. You could be the most advanced, high-tech person in the world, but if you don't respect life will just come by and bite you.
Before we continue on, I like to divert to a similar aspect of the fact that Star Wars creatures are notorious to be very dangerous to you, as I was quick to learn playing Jedi Fallen Order finally. But yeah, the Stormtroopers are just cannon fodder, honestly. But the thing that will kick your 6 ways to Sunday are if you don't know what the hell you're doing fighting against certain creatures and you think, oh, you're button mashing, it'll be fine. No, you don't. You're gonna get chomped to bits in 2 seconds flat, especially the certain one from the very beginning.
Go ahead, Jay.
So knowing all that, I've heard this game being called very Souls-like.
It's Souls-like, but it's not difficult like a Souls game. I've seen my brother play Sekiro and Dark Souls, and if you don't know what you're doing, you're gonna lose your life very quick. And there are difficulties higher, but I'm playing the mid-light Jedi Knight level, and there's supposed to be
if you guys can carry this on, I got
all that, but for the most part, it's almost kind of a light introduction to Dark Souls type gaming for a lot of people.
Yeah,
and we'll continue the official discussion when Jonesy gets back, guys.
Yeah, I got to
listen to me and Derek talk.
Yeah, I gotta go get something real quick. Go ahead and keep it on.
All right. So I've seen videos pop up of the Order 66 level or something. Was it interesting?
I haven't got to that. I only gotten 3 hours into the gameplay and kind of stopped at Kashyyyk. Honestly, funny enough, I'm actually stopped at the point the EA play display with the Imperial Walkers, which that was kind of fun to control. It's definitely a lot more fun to control Imperial Walker in Fallen Order than it is in Battlefront for some weird reason.
Like more slimmer, like easier or something?
Like, it's honestly a lot more faster to drive these things, and you don't have the worry of like crashing into things. I mean, it's still kind of linear in the same way. It's like you're only going in one direction, but you definitely feel like you can see the carnage you're causing with that. And yeah, I'm impressed by how Respawn was able to pull this off, because it definitely feels a lot more gratifying to be a Jedi in this game than it was in Force Unleashed. Because not Force Unleashed. Force Unleashed was like fun to just be like this uber powerful Jedi being that could like cause gigantic force balls and just pummel through like giant steel doors and glass barricades and flinging stormtroopers like 2 American football fields away. But at the same time, it's a lot more gratifying to earn the force powers back, because after Event Order 66, Cal had a very traumatic experience that kind of splintered his force powers, so he has to kind of earn his.
So he kind of like unconsciously blocked himself or something?
Yeah, it's kind of exactly like that. Like he only very basic
stuff. He pulled off a KOTOR too.
Okay, dokie, I'm back, guys.
Nice.
All right.
Sorry, I just had a small epiphany.
Oh, I heard it.
Yeah.
But
anyway,
I definitely
back to the official discussion. Welcome back, viewers.
But what I'm saying is, after we get done with this podcast recording, I'm definitely going to go back up and play that game a lot more.
Good. Speaking of games, I'm doing pretty good on Battlefront. I've gotten past the main campaign on that one, and oh man, I got so sad when the resurrection stuff at the end happened. Like, oh, I mean, I won't go into specifics for a 2-year-old game, but I remember Derek took great precautions to make sure I didn't watch a season trailer for Battlefront, because it included spoilers to the main story.
Right.
Yeah, it was the Last Jedi season. Obviously, he probably would have been getting to at least see a little bit, but I was adamant, like, no, do not watch this. Honestly, God, you can't. This thing has spoilers at the end, so yeah, I had to kick his ass pretty good to make sure he didn't see even an inch of it. But
I find it funny.
As he said that he finished the main campaign, I happily shared the link back to him, like in a heartbeat.
And I told him it's so appropriate that I'm watching and playing the stuff that rises around the corner. Anyway, I find it funny about Star Wars and spoilers, because it's funny. There's some things you can't spoil, and it doesn't really like affect you. Like, okay, I know that. But with Star Wars, I don't know. Spoilers can either be a small asteroid collision or a Death Star beam to your, like, if you find out things you didn't mean to find out, eh?
Oh yeah.
Like, I cannot think of.
It's kind of funny to think about spoilers for Star Wars, because like the most spoilers events that you could possibly think of is the Darth Vader revelation to Luke Skywalker, and by like in the 40-year history by now, everyone pretty much knows this, especially even people who aren't like fans of Star Wars. They know this spoiler like the back of their hand, and it's just kind of weird like how it evolved into that. Like it's perforated. I don't use the right word. Perforated across like the pop culture ephemera, and it's like we kind of accepted that as like a fact that it's not even really a spoiler anymore. It's honestly so funny that even Family Guy jabs that they had to give a spoiler warning before they actually did the scene proper. It's just like you have to roll your eyes and shrug and say, well, yeah, that was a spoiler back then, but it's like not a big deal anymore.
But yeah, I'm saying how Star Wars is a thing that is like spoilers for Star Wars are different than spoilers for say like other things like spoiling Terminator or spoiling a game like Call of Duty. Like yeah, like there's some things that you go like, oh, I would love to have known that, but it isn't like, okay, I know that spoiler. But Star Wars, if you know a spoiler, it's something you're looking forward to. Like that's why when Star Wars stuff happens, some of us go on full media blackout mode. Like, okay, no YouTube, no social media, because I want to try to figure out the secrets for myself. Because somebody's gonna probably spill the beans without meaning to. Like, oh, so did you get to this part and see X and Y? Well, I'm not even started. Oh.
But yeah, he's exactly explaining what I'm gonna plan to do for like that opening week, December 15th to 21st. I'm not even gonna be online anymore, which is gonna be weird. I
You know
think
what's
it's funny,
funny? Yeah,
but it's like, how can you even go back to that anymore?
You'll be on immediate blackout for 5 days. Good luck coming back from that.
Yeah, but I mean, it's gonna be worth it because, like, I mean, I might just cut it off like as soon as I actually see the movie, which would be like around Thursday night. So it won't be like the full entire week, but like you don't know what real life is gonna do, so just playing it safe the entire week.
Yeah.
Oh, by the way,
Speaking of that, bro.
Yes.
Let me know what day we're doing this so I can ask for the day off.
Okay, no problem. I'll let you know way in advance.
Thank you.
So funny thing, I just thought of this. When I'm about to do the spoiler, I think I'll do the Imperial alarm horn before spoilers come in.
Like every other Star Wars channel?
Wait, they do that?
Some of them do.
Okay, or maybe I could put McClunky.
Bro, I didn't mean that to be like typical or nothing. I actually like that better than the King McClunky thing.
Do you really want me to use my porgs?
You wanted it? Yeah, you told me. You said you wanted to use it. And
True.
I'm making sure you use it.
Okay, so anyway, like I say that because I think we can't talk about Mandalorian episode 2 because that's like deals with spoilers for Mandalorian episode 1. And so, I mean, yeah, I think that what we can say about Mandalorian 2 in the vaguest sense is that it's got great action. We finally see what a disintegration looks like in Star Wars officially.
The Wii one is interesting.
Oh, dude.
I said we.
Yeah, I know.
Cool.
But yeah, and then
What do you think I'm talking about?
I have spoken, yeah.
Yeah.
And yeah, that one. Yeah, but the thing about episode 2 is just like episode 1, it does a good job of letting you crave where does this go next. They know how to like end it in the way we go. So I like both episodes 1 and 2. 1 was a good way to set up the universe, and that surprise at the end was like, oh. And it also has a surprising amount of humor, like when you see him in the trailer, when you meet the IG-11 droid, you know, for such a character that's like he's both hilarious but also intimidating. You can see why I'm thinking of Terminator with the way this thing moves at times. You see it in the trailer about him having blast point precision tracking, so he can take out guys in the room, John Woo style. But yeah, so what did you think of the first 2 episodes overall? I'll start with you, Derek.
Honestly, I am really excited to see more, and I could say that this subscription is going to be a keeper as soon as my 7-day free trial ends.
All right,
I will not make regrets about it whatsoever, and I am excited for all the new content that is going to come with it.
She-Hulk show, bro. She-Hulk show.
Let me have my moment.
I'm nervous about that.
Yeah. All right, and Jay, what's your without specifics, what's your first opinion on the first 2 episodes in the Vegas sense?
Pacing is fantastic. Characterization is interesting. I want to see more. The action was well done. But I think my favorite thing of all is the costumes.
Definitely.
That's honestly my favorite thing. And what little puppetry there is,
Oh, definitely. Because there's one thing that's a peeve of Jay's. It's when the puppet is obviously a puppet, and there's one puppet that gets to him all the time. It doesn't matter what I ended up. It's The Force Awakens when you see that little buzzard pecking at the metal.
It looks so fake.
Really?
Oh, third port.
But yeah. Anyway, okay, so I think that's as vague as we can get now. Everyone, I'm going to get into some meat and potatoes on the big thing about the first two episodes.
Oh, by the way, guys, this is going to be the spoiler portion of the episode, so if anyone hasn't seen these episodes by this point, walk away now. We'll wait. Guys, give it like 5 seconds.
We didn't hear Jonesy's thoughts
And we're
about
back. So if you guys are just tuning in, we're going to do some spoilers for the Mandalorian. If you don't want to hear any of this.
Stop.
Yeah.
Oh, my thoughts. He's right. But since my thoughts are kind of hinged on the spoilers anyway, this is good anyway. My thoughts, for the most part, is this thing's pretty... I'm into it. I'm really into it. I could see why some people might have reservations, given that this is the first time Filoni's doing a live-action thing. But he's only going to get better the more they give him. So, and I love the swagger. I love the music. I mean, I love when they're riding those creatures, how it practically turns into a Rocky montage. But yeah, so now we can get to spoilers. So again, now, like we said, this is a spoiler portion, like my good friend Jay pointed out. If you haven't seen it, at this point, you either have already seen it or you don't care. And I really think the surprise is part of the fun. That's part of the fun of anything, is when you actually get genuinely surprised, like, oh, I did not see that. Because like Derek told me, he in a million years didn't see that ending coming for the first one.
No, I honestly didn't. I mean, I was having some thoughts about maybe it might be like a young, like, cargo or something, but like he did say it was 50 years, so it's, I don't know. Maybe it was supposed to be like a droid or something, but as soon as you see the ears, it's like everything's changed now.
Yep, we find out that the asset that is to be retrieved or terminated is in fact a baby of Yoda's species. And
it's
like
not
Eric
Yoda.
Said,
Let's be clear. This is not Yoda or some reincarnation or some funk about that. This is a species of Yoda, which
George.
Even back in the EU, we never even clarified what exactly his species was, because George was kind of adamant to keep that close to his chest.
Can I ask Mike on that?
You learned who the hell the name of the skull is that Luke Skywalker uses to close the door on the Rancor. We know that backstory, but we don't know a thing at all about Yoda's species in almost a near 40 years of Star Wars.
Well,
the series might definitely change a lot of things here. By the way, the name of that skull is Fiddle Quirv, if you even care anymore.
All right. So Jay wanted to clarify some light on that. You said.
Okay, Derek. It's not that he's adamant. He made it Chris, what's that word for really important? Like a really, really important rule?
What do you mean?
Like mandate.
No.
He mandated that Yoda's history, anything about his species, never be explored.
Hell.
Ever.
They got rid of that one famous Topps card that shows them praying to an idol.
Oh, yeah. I remember that. Oh, seeing it anyway.
Yeah, I remember the closest we got to another member of his species was Yaddle in Phantom Menace, and she's out of the picture in the following sequels.
If you don't count the Legends stuff, anyway.
Oh, speaking of Yaddle, I got to quote this, though. All right, fine. Yaddle, I'm going to have to borrow your car. In the shop it is? I just saw it outside. Insurance.
No, I'm pretty sure it was in the shop.
Then he goes, okay, fine. I'm one of 12 Jedi, and my job is to go and get the pizza. Yeah, you're all poof, that one long-necked alien. He's so hilarious, and Robot Chicken made him 10 times funnier. But yeah, so
anyway, back to the topic.
Let's get back to the spoilers, shall we?
The Yoda baby is just aw. In episode 2, the child makes it even more aw, just aw. Like, ask Derek. He was watching it live with me. I mean, he already seen it before, but he was watching my reactions. I was like gushing like I'll porg myself for that, but I was really gushing like, oh, good. I'm pretty sure if your sister was watching that, Jay, she'd be like, look at the baby.
Actually, I showed her a little bit of with him, and bro, I love her reaction. She was like, "Oh, look at the baby Yoda," you know. And my nephew, he was like, "Oh, it's a baby Yoda."
I can definitely say that this little baby creature has just warmed the hearts of any Star Wars fan out there, like anywhere. I even see the meme of like the this is a picture of all like the knights around the table and putting their swords together. Well, it's they labeled prequel fans, Disney fans, original fans, and they all put their swords to one thing: Baby Yoda.
And then well, yeah, like Derek said, I was surprised about how practical that thing was. Obviously, the walking Power shots have to be digitally animated, but that's good. But that thing is such an adorable marvel. And speaking of practical effects, let's talk about Nick Nolte as Kuiwei, the Ugnaught, Kuiil, the Ugnaught.
I have spoken.
Yeah, like he used a practical effect, but they like used some. I think they used some. Either the miniature servos are good enough to get that immaculate lip movement, or they did some digital touch up. But that is like, we were surprised that Ugnaughts even can speak basic.
Yeah, I know. I was so used to that pig squealing we got in Rebels.
What do you mean the deal is off? Boom. Oh, I guess the deal is off. But yeah, the Child was an amazing episode, mostly because you see how he was, like, the Mandalorian made a choice, because he IG-11 was insistent that the client insisted that it be terminated. So yeah, he was about to hasta la vista that baby, and the Mandalorian just put a hole in his head.
Which actually makes you wonder, like, there must be like multiple bounties on this thing, because I would see there's one that honestly wants him alive more, but now there might be this other party that wants him specifically dead, like no questions asked.
And there was even the Trandos in the first part of episode 2 that tried to take the baby too, and the Mandalorian showed that rifle what it could really do at full power, and woo! Just the power of blowing him away.
Yeah, which honestly, let's just hope that baby is never scarred for life seeing that stuff.
And then, of course, you find out that Jawas, wow, they just stripped the out of that ship. It was just like a carcass, like woo! They just completely took it for parts. Like me and Jay were joking. It's like when some rich guy parks a sports car in that rough part of the hood. That's like, you lock your doors and everything. And when he comes back after 5 minutes or whatever, he sees there's nothing but steel frame and maybe the rims, right?
Yep.
And honestly, can we just say that seeing these Jawas definitely makes looking at their like execution in A New Hope like have a little bit more meaning to the fact that the Stormtroopers had to blow these guys away. Because facing up against Jawas, even for a Mandalorian, these guys will kick your shit if like you try to mess with them. Like they will
that whole and
then like throw junk in your face. They will do whatever it takes to get you off their tail.
And yeah, he laughed when he finally I got up to the top and like 12 stunners are on him. That was such a humbling moment. I know people are saying, "Oh gosh, that's humiliating," but I'm saying, no. If our protagonist gets some hurdles, it kind of makes him more likable. Like look at Kenobi, some of the stuff he went through in his stuff. Or look at Luke. The guy like fell into a garbage chute and almost got drowned by some weird force sensitive technical monster that was baptizing him in Legends.
No, that's canon.
Oh yeah, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
But yeah, like so I like the Mandalorian getting humbled, and he has to learn to deal with them. First he tries retribution on them, which is not a good thing because he blew him away. So when he runs into them again, I like how they say no weapons and everything like that. Everything has to go because they they're barters and traders. They're not just mindless, scavengers. So I like how the negotiation scene was hilarious, especially with Kawil, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, Kawil explaining to him the Mandalorian's plight and what they will trade for his ship parts. And I love the bit when the Mandalorian himself starts trying to speak rough Jawaese, and even the Jawas are like, yeah, you're not good at
Yeah, Jawa is horrible. You sound like a Wookiee.
You understand this? And then he tries to fry a couple of them with the flamethrower.
God, by the way, does anyone else love that little slight roaring sound it makes whenever he fires it?
Mm-hmm.
I love it.
I nearly died laughing just watching that the first time, because that would honestly be the reaction anyone would have when you're being compared to your speeches like the Wookiee.
Yeah, so we find out that they want the egg. That's the only thing they'll trade for. They even consider trading for the youngling, trading for his mascot. I love when he says I love when he goes like I love the line when the Mandalorian says, "Weapons are like my religion," but he has to give them up. And I love when they want the shiny metal, and even Kawil's all like, "Yeah, this is important to a Mandalorian. You can't just trade for that." So they want the egg, and they go, "Okay, we'll get them the egg. Maybe that'll actually get them to listen." And we find out that getting the egg is a lot more trouble than it's worth, probably.
Was anyone else expecting a Krayt Dragon, or was that just me?
Apparently, a couple of reviewers were too, but I was just saying it might be some vicious monster. And sure enough, it was this big old woolly rhino.
Call him Mudhorn according to the subtitles.
A lot of these Jawas, like, being obsessed with this egg and just constantly, like, proclaiming the egg, kind of reminds me like this little green man in Toy Story, which they were, like, appeasing over the claw. Like, Also, I was jokingly telling Derek, "We are the mites who go nip, and we demand a shrubbery." That's what this reminds me of. So when the ending happened after he went through his whole ordeal with the Mudhorn and everything, I made a joke of the Jawa saying, "Okay, give us another shrubbery." It is a good shrubbery. I did like the little parsec there. It was lovely, very nice.
But yeah. So that fight was tense. I love that the Mandalorian got himself royally pounded.
He had his ass handed to him.
I love the bit when he's like, everything's expensive. This thing is not going down. So he just gets out his knife for one last stand, thinking, this is gonna hurt.
Like, he was not gonna go without a fight.
And lo and behold, the little one proves that the surprise that we all suspected, but it confirmed it by actually lifting the poor thing up with the sheer power of the Force. And like Jay says, what he loves is the fact that neither Kawil nor the Mandalorian can explain what just happened when that happened.
They don't understand at all.
Which is kind of weird because
they don't know what the Force is.
Which is kind of weird considering the fact that the Mandalorian culture are supposed to be like, sworn enemies of the Jedi, and they should know about the Force. They even went so far as to make.
But keep in mind, he's probably at most in his late 20s, early 30s, maybe. He probably grew up hearing the stories, but that's probably all they are to him. It's just stories. He never fought the Jedi. He's probably never even encountered one at all. So, I mean,
what? They
I could be wrong.
The Empire got taken down by just like nobody. Like, the Legend of Luke Skywalker hasn't reached out yet.
Remember, this whole series takes place way in the Outer Rim. You got to think stories like that, like what Luke can do, are going to sound very fantastical and fake as hell. He probably just hears it, brushes it off as nothing but spice-induced hallucinations or something. I don't know. That's just my thought.
But yeah, so so he kills the Mudhorn, and he's surprised by the baby who's exhausted. And I love how Hello Greedo compared it to, like, the baby got tired out like a kid who ran around all day and the crash finally hit.
Like, poor little thing. By the way, can I just say this? Or can we all agree on this? That baby just proves the adage, size matters not.
Yep. And
Good
okay,
time.
so after having gone through hell, almost him and the baby are trampled. He gives the eggs to the Jawa, where they promptly hold it up in
Slice it
victory.
open like a cleaver and just go to town with it.
Just
Acting like they're like opening up kegs of beer and just going at it like a frat party.
I want someone to like take a GIF of when they do that and say, "Me and my friends when pizza are involved."
I wonder how it was for like the little like actors to portray that. Like, you think they actually ate that stuff?
If it was something to be ingested by actors, they probably made it something that could be, consumed. Like when in Game of Thrones, little thing when Daenerys, as part of a ritual in season 1, had to eat the heart of a horse. They made like this gelatin, a gummy bear flavored like a heart for her thing, mixed with I think chocolate for blood or whatever. And she kind of got a little sick. So there's a part where Daenerys kind of like retches a bit, eating the heart, which is actually Amelia for real reacting to the thing, but she was able to champion through and eat it, and that made the scene more effective. But yeah, so normally when they have to consume something, is they make sure it's kind of edible at least, so they can at least put it in their mouth without like being poisoned or whatever. But it doesn't mean
what makes me think of?
Huh.
How Mark Hamill describes how they originally made the blue milk.
Oh yeah.
Oh God.
So he was happy that the Galaxy's Edge blue milk tasted better than the Onset blue milk from back then.
Yeah, it tastes like a fruit smoothie compared to like a sickly, sweet, oily kind of
Gunk
thing.
Ugh.
Anyway, back on topic.
Oh, but yeah, ask Jay. Me and my sister are the weird kind of people that we'll find things that probably shouldn't be cute, adorable for some reason. So I thought it was kind of cute seeing the Jawas just swarm all over that thing, and it's like, I want my bit. But yeah, and also like Jay says, it kind of scared him in a symbolic way. Maybe he's reading too much into it, but seeing them hand this over to the Jawas and they like just like eviscerate this egg is probably a symbolism of what might the Empire do if they get a hold of this baby.
Because who knows if they even know it can use the Force. Maybe they're just trying to experiment with it to gain some kind of study into long life or something.
And here's the thing, too. Here that leads us to the big question. So after reuniting with Khalil and getting his ship repaired and everything and leaving, I love it when he offers him to come with him, and he says how no, and he wants to give him something for his help, and he says that I lived a long life trying to avoid servitude, so to find his freedom and his peace. So the Mandalorian goes, all I can give you is my thanks, then.
I give you mine.
I love it. May it survive and give you great reward. Now, some people thinking, wait, does he actually want him to turn him in and get like money? But I think for Khalil, the great reward doesn't mean the bounty he's going to get from turning this thing in, but whatever fulfillment this creature will give him with his interactions, maybe.
I have a funny feeling he's going to get that best scar another way.
But yeah, so that's the big question.
The next episode is going to open up, and it turns out, well, yeah, they fixed the ship, but it might be a shortage of fuel, and he has to drop to a planet nearby. And hopefully Cara Dune might actually get into the picture, because I'm really craving at the edge to see like Gina Carrera portray Cara Dune for this show. I want to see.
I know Jay wants to see what Ming Na is going to be in this whole thing.
Just call her Mulan.
Melinda May from S.H.I.E.L.D.
There you go.
All right, isn't she gonna be like the Twi'lek in this?
She's something.
We heard her voice in the trailer saying your name will be legendary.
By the way, can I just say something about a scene from way back in the episode 1 that I just have to say that I love? That whole scene in the Foundry.
The Mandalorian.
Between the Mandalorian and the armor.
Do you think?
I just love that bit.
I know people like to say, do you think that was Boba in the shadows?
No.
No, it's not.
Boba's
the type of guy that would like to
unless it's from Pablo Hidalgo, don't believe it.
He's got the green armor with the brown piping. He's got the orange gauntlets and the cape.
Do you have any idea how many Mandos wear green and brown?
He has the dent on his helmet.
Besides, I really don't see Boba as being the type to actually be hanging around with Mandos, because
Exactly.
he's got it in his
in
head that
he's not a quote-unquote Mandalorian. So...
and he's basically just a clone, so he's just, he wanted to go do his own thing, which was just hanging out with the Hutt cartel.
Yeah. Anyway, so do you think the Mandalorian will give this baby up?
No. I don't think that heartless.
I mean, the scientist wants to keep him alive, so there might be some truth to this.
But he's got a soft spot for Kid. You can tell that.
Right.
Because he himself was an orphan.
But you can't keep the. But let's face facts here. He really can't keep the kid. He has a dangerous style. He has to pay for his tribe. He has to, buy for his fuel, and he has to do all these dangerous bounty jobs. And you really think he's part that little egg around with him the entire time of his life?
Yeah, you got a point there. But you know what that reminds me of, Jay?
Lads, Chris, before you say your thing, I want to say my piece real quick. Proof of termination is also acceptable, meaning a DNA sample at the very least. So what I'm thinking is he's going to fake the kid's death. That doesn't necessarily mean he has to keep the kid with him. He could put it in a safe place where the Empire will never find it. I don't know.
I was going to say, what that reminds me of, the way Derek described it? That totally reminded me of our little faraway story idea for Cal and Julie. Remember?
Oh, God, yeah.
You remember Julie, the little alien cat girl I designed for him? We made a funny thing, what if she was in the Star Wars universe and some smuggler happened to find her, and she still retains her shape-shifting properties and anything like that, and she has to hide out, but she wants to help him in his style of work of, smuggling and everything, and she has...
Smuggling, bounty hunting.
It's funny, they also have the little, they have an Aqualish named Boris, who's like a drunkard, but also a really good friend. He's hilarious the way we made him out to be.
Yeah, he's a Russian. I don't know why I gave an Aqualish a Russian accent, but it makes sense.
Speaking of Aqualish, they're kind of adorable in a weird way. Like that one Aqualish on Battlefront 2 that you have to save, the governess.
Oh, yeah. Listen, I know they're supposed to look like spider faces, but it kind of looks like they have butt cheeks for lips.
Okay, yeah.
Just saying.
He doesn't like you.
I don't like you either.
But yeah. So, you're right. I don't know. That's the good thing about this. We don't know where this is going to go. We don't know if he's going to keep it and have to drop it off, or if he's going to have to actually turn it in and rescue it later. We don't know. That's what's great. They're not knowing.
And Filoni, he's not stupid. So.
He only directed the first one, but...
Oh.
I like
didn't Favreau write out the scripts for the first 4
Yes.
episodes, though?
I think Favreau did, so... I think Filoni had some involvement, but Filoni only directed the first one. I know we're going to get direction from Taika. Taika's going to direct an episode. He was already the voice of IG-11.
Oh, yeah.
I love IG-11's self-destruct gag. The guild determines I must not be captured, so therefore I must self-destruct. No. Don't self-destruct.
Do not self-destruct.
We work together. This is acceptable.
I thought I was the only guild member on assignment.
Yeah, well, that makes 2 of us.
I love every time he gets shot or injured, I must initiate self-destruct. No.
Do not initiate self-destruct. By the way, a little personality quirk I love with the Mandalorian. He doesn't like droids.
No droids. This is our finest speeder, I assure you.
No droids.
Hey, that's your pleasure.
I love
we get the beat up speeder.
The Gundarian salesman. I still love those things.
By the way, same agent that tailed Han and them to Docking Bay 94.
For real? That's the same Gundarian?
No. Same species.
Oh, you got me scared for a second. Like, oh, wow.
That would have been an awkward way. Goes to the server of the Empire, just ended up on a bad guy's planet.
Yeah, so it's the same species, but I love the Gundarian. Yeah, so, yeah, and I like that speeder was driven by an R2 unit.
For Or at least
I
in
never,
our system, anyway.
imagine that speeders could actually be run by RT units, but
And
there's this show that's going to actually show that they can do more than just starfighters now.
And I jokingly told Derek when he asked for the other one, bring about the loner. The loner?
The loner.
Because that's what that speeder was.
Oh God! Someone dub that scene over with that. You know the Kubas in Hati. Bring him the
still lasts-
loner.
But yeah, and then
At least still longer than a loner, so it's still kicking.
yeah, then the Croco Walrus ate it. So any picks or quirks that you hope they iron out as the series goes on?
I'm pretty satisfied so far.
Derek?
Yeah, same.
Yeah. So I'm just curious about how each director's going to handle it, because we got Bryce Dallas Howard doing an episode. We got Taika. We got a couple of big time names. I think we got Michelle McLaren from Breaking Bad doing an episode.
Bryce Dallas Howard.
Yeah, as in Ron Howard's.
The redhead.
Yeah, Claire
For
from
Jurassic World.
Yeah.
Claire. Really?
It'll be her first directing gig. Well, her second. I think she already directed one minor thing already. So this is going to be.
So Little Miss I Can Run in High Heels from a T-Rex is going to be directing an episode.
But yeah, her dad already did an episode. Her dad already did Solo.
Oh yeah. Wait. I'm not trying to be stupid here.
Yes,
but
Bryce Dallas
really?
Howard is Ron Howard's daughter.
Oh.
Can you see the resemblance, kind of?
Well. Okay, fifth board, bro. Sorry.
But
Nice.
honestly, it's kind of surprising we're going to get another Breaking Bad director to do a Star Wars piece after we had Ryan Johnson, because
Yeah.
he did some other Breaking Bad episodes too.
He did Fly. He did Ozymandias. He did a lot of great episodes, actually.
The Fly is still a weird episode as much as I like it.
It's hilarious.
It is. It's just weird.
It's James Rolfe's favorite episode of the entire Breaking Bad series. We did a breakdown of that, so yeah. But yeah.
By the way, speaking of, is anyone else going to be looking to watch the Knives Out movie? Or is it just me?
Yes. I saw the preview for that. I'm like, okay, I got to see this.
All right. So, okay. One thing I gotta say.
Yeah?
I want to see one thing. I want to see him meet with the Hutt Council.
Ah.
You know, I want to see him basically meet with a bunch of fat Italians. I don't know, or the mob, or whatever the Hutts are supposed to represent. The Mexican cartel? I don't know.
Well, honestly,
Maybe.
didn't they say that the Hutts are kind of mostly like, spaced out so much that like Jabba was like one of the only big ones left about?
In canon, yeah. I believe.
Oh, and another thing. I really love that what they do for the beginning of every episode with that lightsaber swishing and showing all the helmets throughout all the eras.
No, I love it.
Oh yeah, the Star Wars intro.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the banner.
Which it's also gonna be weird to have that be like the thing that like unites all these Star Wars projects going forward. Because usually it's always a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away. Like that was kind of the thing that connected them all.
A long time ago, in a galaxy far, far away.
Now, here's one thing that we might laugh at, but I do hope a future series does bring back pod racing.
I mean, come on.
If you make pod...
that honestly has like potential. Like, have anyone actually played like those pod racer games? Well, okay, honestly, specifically Racer's Revenge, because that would actually open up to show how ruthless and like seedy the pod racing could actually be.
Like, if you can make pod racing like Rush or Ford versus Ferrari, but pod racing, I would tune into that stuff because, yeah.
You know, pod racing is a good set for a racing drama.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I mean, I remember, speaking of pod racing, I remember doing some quests in the old KOTOR games where you would talk with other racers and they'd ask you, like, hey, can you sabotage this other dude's racer with this one part? Or can you pay this other guy to, you know, dive the race or something? Little side hit, you know, I love it. 6 porg.
I think we're more than 6, but that's fine. That's 6
on my end.
Yeah, 6 from you. I think I've done 1 or 2 porgs. Derek, thankfully, has no porgs on the scoreboard.
Not yet.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I had 1 at least.
Yeah.
I haven't heard it.
Okay, I'll dig through carefully to make sure we got it.
All right.
You know, that'd be very funny going on. We start actually having a porg counter on screen.
Yes, bro, do it.
You'll win every time.
Oh yeah, that's the beauty of it. I'll always win.
Or maybe we should have it. The more porgs you have, the more infested your ship is. So if you can go through a thing without getting a porg on your ship, you'd probably be better.
He's like, wait, so my ship isn't infested. What do I win?
A lot of porgs. You win a lot of porgs. They're rewards in itself.
They're just the trick to keep.
Yeah, I can't believe people make a big deal about the whole porg gag with Chewie and the porgs when he's trying to eat. Like, guys, the one little scene, you guys got to make videos about why that ruined X and Y. Jeez.
I mean, guys, he's hungry. Come on. I mean, that'd be like, you know, you haven't eaten for days, you're on your own, and all you see is
Cute little squirrels.
Yeah, a cute, adorable little squirrel, and it's walking up to you. You have a chance to eat it. Are you going to eat it?
Well, Chewie ended up not eating it because of the guilty face. But yeah, I thought it was funny. Star Wars always has humor like that. Hell, that's another thing people said was great about Mandalorian. It's funny in all the right ways that make sense for it. Like, it's funny to see him get shot by Jawas and fall down the hill. It's funny to see your that one blue guy like talk about evacuating his thorax in a funny way. Yeah.
By the way, can I just say how adorable and funny it was to watch Baby Yoda eat the little frog?
Oh yeah.
It's like, hey, spit that out.
That was just for irony's sake, like, hey, look, there's an actual frog, and then here's the little alien species that acts like a frog whenever they fight. And now he's just eating the frog.
And then I know that Jay laughed when he heard Khalil say, "So this is the one that all the fuss is about?"
You know, and it wasn't that he was shocked or nothing. It was just like how calmly he said it. Like, so this is what all the fuss is about. And he just goes with it. Like, okay. He's one of the most chill dudes I've ever seen.
I know. Like Derek says, in less than a week, he's already got a shirt on Shirt Punch, right?
Yeah.
But I can't shirt from Shirt Punch.
But there is a shirt that.
I was just saying that the meme I've spoken has finally already reached shirts at this point.
But yeah, that's right. So you're saying, Jay?
Speaking of the Mandalorian fan art, bro, I sent this to you a little while ago. You should send Derek that picture of the Mandalorian Death Stranding crossover.
Talk about. I know exactly what it is. It's timed so perfectly, and it makes so much goddamn sense when you think about it.
That is.
Are you showing it to?
Yeah.
Oh, what were you saying, Derek?
I was just saying that I know exactly what the fan art is that he was going to show you.
No. Oh, yeah, okay, yeah. Yeah, we already saw one of Samus doing that. And did you send me the picture on Gmail, bro?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah, okay, I'll download it real quick, and I'll send it to Derek. And he probably knows what it is, but, yeah.
I've already seen it on Facebook.
I like it.
He found a Samus one on Facebook that was really good.
Ooh, I look for that one then.
I can just send you it.
Oh, yeah.
Are you sure you sent it to me on Facebook, or is it on DA?
What, me?
No, I was just saying that
I don't see nothing.
Oh, it's on Gmail, bro.
Yeah, well, I'm not seeing it in my
I thought I sent it to you on Gmail. Well, I'll send it later.
I'll send it to you later, but you probably know what it is. But basically, it's a Death Stranding one of the Mando with the Baby Yoda.
And
Yep, that's
and
it.
instead of arm thing, it's a blaster thing.
Like I said, there's already one for Metroid of Samus holding a baby Metroid doing that same deal.
That one
so, yeah. So I love the music. I love I love Grease Karga. I love Werner Herzog as that Imperial with the very elaborate speak.
The client, as he is known.
And again, I'm loving more I see, and I know people are probably a little miffed by the week-by-week basis, but I like it that way, to be honest. It gives me something to look forward to. It sucks because I go like, man, I want to jump to the next episode. But it's also good because, like, anticipation, and all that stuff. What's your thoughts on the week-to-week basis thing, Derek?
Well, like you guys said, it gives you something to wait for. Because I haven't had that since, like, honestly, Doctor Who last year. I'm still waiting for, like, seeing in trailer for Series 12. I'm chomping at the bit. I just want to see more of her. But, yeah, until then, we have the Mandalorian here.
By the way, one comparison I saw for Mandalorian Episode 2, some people said it felt like an episode of Samurai Jack, especially with that silent opening where there's no communication. They're just, like, gestures and stuff like that.
Oh, yeah.
Which is funny considering that Samurai Jack originally ended on a show where Jack had to look after a baby. You know, like long before Getty actually finally got the chance to finish the story proper.
And then
ironically, the last episode to air before the 5th season.
And that reminds me too about how Gandhi made Clone Wars, and Clone Wars was readapted by Filoni, so it all comes together full circle.
All coming together.
And I know, like, this is not George in the mixes, but can I see the George quote this time once?
Yeah.
It's like poetry. It rhymes. But yeah. So yeah, I'm looking forward to the next episode, and I'm thinking unless the episode is big, we probably won't be doing a week-by-week recap of everything. I think, if anything, if we next talk about The Mandalorian, we'll probably talk about The Mandalorian when we've seen either the halfway point or all the episodes. We can give a full discussion about everything about it. But
personally, okay, because I have to get going. I have to put him to bed. That's put my nephew to bed pretty soon.
Well, we're going to be finishing up soon anyway.
We should do this every 2 or 3 episodes, I think.
Talk about The Mandalorian?
I feel we're coming to a close anyway. But yeah, I do agree we should wait until we're like at the halfway point at this point. Because what we did basically was be like, you know, satiate your plate to see these episodes to wait coming in back to see the next one and the next one after that. Like we still
because if we did it by episode, yeah. Another thing too, though, like so the next time we actually do a high ground, it'll probably be on something else, like either the games or, like I jokingly said, maybe that holiday special, but like a small thing on that. But like yeah, so we'll do different topics. But just that this week, since Mandalorian was one of the big things to come out, we should talk about it. That's why I thought we should. Maybe the next time we'll probably have after all of us have played it, we could probably have a discussion about what we learned in Fallen Order, maybe.
I gotta wait till you're done with that.
Oh yeah, because he didn't even he had to be either Death Stranding or Fallen Order, and he picked Death Stranding. So, but I got.
Hey, I wanted to be a porter. Sorry, guys.
So I got the first. I got it on physical media, so I will share it with him after I'm done with it. I should be able to get to the campaign in a couple of days if I play vigorously, Adion, or what? What do you think?
From all I've heard about all the exploration and stuff, I don't know. I got it.
Like how long is this game so far?
If you don't explore and stuff,
I only play
at least 20, 30 hours
so far. It still feels like it's just like starting.
All right, so. But point is, probably in a couple of weeks, we'll talk about in-depth Fallen Order, right?
Yeah. At least you two will be in it at some point.
I was honestly thinking maybe next time we should at least talk about like how we started on Star Wars. I think that's actually a good topic. So.
Yeah, okay, so we could talk about that. Because it's because Mandalorian happened so soon, and so did Jedi Fallen Order. We kind of just have to jump on and get this off the ground while we can, learning what we can. But maybe next time we will talk about properly our Star Wars experiences in the past and that kind of stuff. Just going back to the beginning.
Yeah.
It's funny, I called the first episode the beginning, but that wasn't really the beginning when you think about it.
Oh my God, we're a Teen Titans episode. We're out of sequence.
Speaking of which, did you guys? I know it's not inconsequential, but did you guys recognize the styling of the opening?
Yeah.
Derek?
Oh, of what opening?
The high ground, the way I opened it. Do you recognize what it was modeled after?
Oh,
Yeah, this is one of the Clone Wars cartoon.
Yeah.
That was nice.
The music, the way the thing fades in, everything. I based it off of the Clone Wars. All it's missing is an Admiral Yularen speech at the beginning of everything.
Or the Republic. Yeah, whatever.
You know what's funny? When we were watching the movies in sequence in preparation for Rise of Skywalker, me and Derek would read the crawl. Sometimes we would read it like ourselves, but other times we'll during the episode 3 we read it like a Yularen war report.
I figured we were used to seeing that crawl a lot more, that we were confident to pull that accent off.
Yeah. Yeah, like war. It is. But yeah, so I think this is where we were hit the wrap-up point, and we got what we needed to say and everything like that. So we got a few more porgs than I expected, but that's to be expected at this point. I love it. Eventually, I might change it up a bit, or maybe I'll have a full episode as not porg. I know that YouTube is going through some flux right now due to outside forces, and people are being more careful with their content about what's aimed towards kids and what's not. So I know that's a whole thing, and I'm not trying to get caught in the middle of that, but like I said, I'm just doing the porg thing because I think it's fun. I think it's funny just to have a little rant.
Next time it should be like an R2-D2 squeal or something.
Oh, I only saved like a harsh scream for like a really big swear word. Like we I know what could be.
Oh, like the one you don't like.
Yeah.
I wasn't gonna say it. I'm just saying.
Speaking of which, does anyone else think the Sarlacc looks like a big fanny?
Well, fanny's not the word I'd use.
The British word for fanny.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Anyway, so what? Okay. Yeah, that's a weird way to close out.
Censor that whole bit.
Yeah. So anyway, yeah, that's the deal we got so far. Dude, we're almost at the month marker for Rise of Skywalker. It's unbelievable, actually.
Like, we're almost like at close to 30 days now, which it's gonna go by pretty quick. This month has already gone by quick. So.
Especially with our work schedules accelerating the day by days.
But it's gonna be worth it. The holiday season, we'll have Star Wars. It's all gonna end up nicely, really.
That's good. Alrighty then. So, okay. So, any last words for everybody?
Nope.
Okay. Derek?
I'm pretty good here.
Yeah. Good. Alrighty then. Alright. So, Jonesy Cat 79 signing off. And may the force be with you always. McConkey.
We have spoken.